Look, I love a good Mac computer, but they don't always meet everyone's needs. Ooh. Yes, that hurt to say. So today I'm going to give you 5 major reasons why you might want to consider switching to a PC. And while you're considering that, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, MSI. As an addendum to that note, MSI also provided the laptops that will be showcased in this video. When they reached out to me and said they wanted to sponsor a video over the holidays, I knew the only way to do that was not to dive too deeply into any individual laptop, but to show just why Windows laptops can be pretty darn good options, especially compared to MacBooks. So the first real reason is, what's that? Somebody's calling me. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Oh, hello there. Can I help you?
Yes, Mr. Dad. My name is Avery. Avery Mon. And to be frank with you, sir, I don't like Apple computers.
Oh, hey, thanks for calling. I've never gotten a call in the middle of a video before. So I guess my first question to you would be, what don't you like about them?
Well, Mr. Dad, there are a plethora of reasons. I think we can both agree on that. But the first and most obvious one is, they are just too darn expensive.
Okay, Avery, was it? Okay, I have to give you that one. That is a fantastic first point to make. In all honesty, MacBooks have always been at the higher end of the laptop marketplace. Even today, their cheapest option comes in at over $800, which can absolutely be outside of the budget of a ton. Most folks cannot afford that for a regular old laptops. One of the best parts about Windows machines is the breadth and range of different options that you can get. You can get them at almost any price point, and yes, we will expound upon the versatility more in just a little bit. There are a huge range of use cases for these laptops. Now, I'm not going to try to hit every single one today, but personally, I'm an office worker and a YouTube creator, so that's where we're going to veer. And a specific example from today's sponsor, trying to hit the lowest yet usable price range, the MSI Prestige 14 Evo really does seem to check all of those blocks for versatility. You get a 14-inch laptop with up to a 12th gen Intel Core i5 processor, integrated Intel G graphics, and a suite of biometric authentication options that you straight up will not get in any MacBook. You will only get fingerprint authentication in a MacBook. You can't get Face ID there. I think when we look at Windows laptops compared against MacBooks, yes, they can be cheaper in and of themselves, but what this really means in a practical standpoint is you can spend and get what you want instead of having to spend at least a certain amount of money and get power and features that you might not want to spend money on. Do you really need the power to edit 4K, 6K, or 8K raw video files from a machine that you just want to check email or Facebook? And in the Apple world, you kind of have to spend that money no matter what you're looking for. Hold on, I think, Avery, are you still there? Did that answer your... Well, I guess you didn't ask me a question, but did that at least give you some idea of the options that are out there?
Yes, Mr. Dad.
Yeah, Mr. Dad is my father. You can just call me Gary. My dad's name is not Mr. Dad.
Okay, Gary. I also don't like that you get very little customization options. Sure, you can upgrade the internal components once when you're doing the ordering process, but once you've got the machine, what you get is what you've got.
Avery, darn it, that is another fantastic point. You are bringing the fire today. If we look across the MacBook portfolio, you essentially see the exact same laptop 4 to 5 different times. The M2 MacBook Air through the 16-inch M1 MacBook Pro 16, they all look and they operate pretty much the same, the only real difference being aesthetic differences. Yes, the higher ends have better screens, better processors, but functionally, it's the same experience. Much like price, there are so many different cool variants of Windows laptops, it's really only limited by companies' imaginations. For example, look at the MSI Summit E13 Flip. You get a lot of the same internal functionality found in the other laptops, i7 Intel processors, integrated Intel graphics, tons of active memory. But this, dare I call it a laptop, can act as both a touchscreen tablet and an actual laptop. Additionally, there is a cool little stylus that you can get so you don't actually have to touch your screen, because touching a screen, I believe it would leave a lot of fingerprint gunk. In the Apple world, the only thing that can really do what this laptop can do is an iPad with a Magic Keyboard case with an Apple Pencil combination. And I don't need to remind you, I think, maybe I do. That combination is more expensive than most laptops. But branching out from that specific machine, there are all sorts of unique Windows variants. There are even tablets that run Windows, but plug into a GPU dock and turn into an actual gaming rig. That's pretty darn awesome. And while I'm sure we'll get into it shortly, it's almost like I know what's in the script, customization can also be had across use cases for the laptops themselves. You could have a fairly standard email checker, bill payer, word processing cheap laptop, or you could get a mega powerful gaming laptop that has enough raw horsepower to both launch a moon mission and still have enough thermal headspace to play, I don't know, what do the kids play these days? Roblox? Kids play Roblox these days, right? Suffice to say that while you are going to get a consistent and potentially boring option inside of a MacBook, every computing scenario you could think of exists inside of a Windows computer, and most of them also exist in Windows laptops. It's like, that's the point of the video. Man, is this guy's still here? Holy crap. All right, Avery, I know you've got something else for me. Don't hold back. Just let it all out, man.
All right, Gary. I know from watching your content that you don't play a lot of video games.
Whoa, Avery, let's keep those gloves above the belt, buddy. I'll have you know I am a radical gamer. I even beat the new God of War game, so suck it, nerd.
Yes, Gary. I'm the nerd in this conversation. Either way you go, you didn't do any of that gaming on a MacBook because Macs are just not good at gaming.
You just cannot compete with Windows when it comes to big, heavy graphical gaming tasks. And by you, I mean Mac, because who else is trying to compete here? I guess Linux laptops? Do Linux laptops game? Let me know. We can look over at MSI's gaming range to see what kind of potential the upper limit of gaming laptops can offer. The GT77 can be had with an up to 8-core i9 processor, NVIDIA 3080 graphics, 128 gigabytes of dedicated memory, and all the ports you could ever want. It's like a little custom PC stuffed into a little stocking stuffer. Oh,
Gary, what kind of stockings do you have in your house?
Avery, it was a turn of phrase. Don't be too worried about it. We have regular stockings in the Ted household. As much as Apple has tried to push into the gaming world, there just isn't as much that they can do when their processors and operating systems run on a totally different type of architecture. x86 versus ARM might be a foregone conclusion for productivity tasks, but for gaming, raw power is where it's at. If you want a game on a MacBook, you have to hope the program has been optimized for the M series of chips, and that's very, very rare, even 2 years later. If it hasn't been optimized, the process has to run through a bit of translation software, and that takes a big chunk of performance right off the top. Okay, I got something for him. Are you a big gamer, Avery?
Hey, I play a mean Terraria, and don't change the subject, Gary. I also don't like how Apple machines are basically black boxes. What you buy is what you get, and you can never crack it open and upgrade the memory or storage yourself. That sucks.
Okay, dang. I think you've hit the nail on the head here. Right to repair has always been the Achilles heel of Apple technology. As we talk about this part, I do want to point out that some higher end productivity Windows machines also solder everything down. So it's not a total victory here, but most mid-range gaming and not teeny tiny machines will generally allow you to upgrade several components inside of them. Now, MSI won't let me crack these cases open, but we've seen in the past that if you want to upgrade laptop internals, it's not all that hard, and it can save you a ton of money over buying expensive OEM pieces and parts to do so. Look at how much Apple wants for a simple RAM upgrade. $400 for 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's pretty darn expensive. That's right up there with what some folks might pay for a budget laptop. You can go out and get 32 gigabytes of DDR4, 3200 megahertz RAM for like 70, 80 bucks. You take maybe 20 minutes to pop off the bottom of the laptop and boom, you are good to go. Also, look at how much Apple wants for solid state drives. $400 for 2 terabytes of storage. That's absolutely wild. You can get a cutting-edge 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe Samsung drive for like 159 bucks. And these are real big savings that you can get if you just put in a little bit of elbow grease.
Okay, well here's a curveball to throw at you, Gary. Mac computers can sometimes be wonky to work with other software.
Yeah, Avery, you're right. Much like gaming, there are some programs that will just straight up not work on Mac OS. Personally, in my gaming and my creation, I've not found that to be that big of a deal, but I'm not an audio engineer, I'm not a hardcore gamer, or any kind of other folk that have a limited amount of hardware that supports the things that I want to work on or with, and thankfully all of these MSI laptops that we've talked about so far today will run anything fine. One of the examples of today is the MSI Modern 15. It will work with any of the software that would normally run on Windows.
Well, Gary, I'm sorry, I still don't like Apple computers, and I've seen in your backgrounds that you have them all of the time, so I'm sorry, sir, but we must be mortal enemies.
What? Why?
Because that's how discourse on the internet works, Gary.
That was weird. Seriously though, I think there are some absolute legitimate reasons to either not buy or move from an Apple computer to a Windows computer. I mean, I personally use both in my daily life. I'm not actually married to my MacBook. That would be crazy, right? But what about you? What are some reasons that you've made the switch or never actually started using Macs? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video and you want to see just how easy it is to actually upgrade a laptop, click here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.